Hi, my name is Nate Latessa, President of Heureka Software. Today I'm going to run you through a demonstration of the Heureka Intelligence Platform. Right now I'm logged into our administrative console, which acts as like the traffic cop within the whole system. This is where all of our endpoints that are deployed are going to check into, and this is where administrators would come in, see the status of the different dashboards, and also the status of any searches they've run. Now, I've already deployed this to a number of machines in the organization. I believe we've got about 50 in this demo, and you can see they're a pretty good mix of Mac, Windows, and Linux machines. So all of these have a Heureka agent running on them, and you can see my machine's in here, Nate's MacBook Pro. So when that agent was installed, the first thing it does is create a full text and metadata index of the entire contents of my machine, and then keeps that index locally and updates itself with new or modified data. So it doesn't move that to a central repository, it doesn't copy it anywhere, it keeps it local on that machine. When it's also running through doing that initial index, it's classifying data, looking for PII and things like that. So all of that information is automatically returned back to our dashboard. And the dashboard is really the beginning of this process here. And I can get an at-a-glance look at some of the different things that are going on in my network. So for instance, these are the top 25 machines I have here in my organization, sorted by risk profile. And so if I look at one of these first ones here, which is Judy Townsend, you can see Judy has a lot of different types of risk on her machine. So this is kind of a current risk profile, and below that is a trailing 30-day look at all the different risks that I have out there. And if I click on Judy's name, I can see how that changes. So I can see that she's got some dips here in her risk, so that might have been something that she deleted some information, or if we saw a sudden spike, maybe it means that she was inadvertently downloading information or collecting information there that she shouldn't. Below that is an inventory by machine of all the different devices we have this deployed on, and then the risk tags associated with those machines. So for instance, the first one on here is Kim's MacBook Pro. I can see that Kim has some Discover cards, Visa cards, bank routing numbers, Amex, Diners Club, and Social Security numbers. If I wanted to look at any of these here and actually create a search, I could do that, and it would just pull back just those documents, so I could start to look at them and inspect them and see what's going on in those files. But I'm actually just going to run a simple search within Heureka to show you how fast everything runs on here. So the search would be like a traditional e-discovery or investigative type search, or it might be a response to something like a subject access request where you're looking for very specific information about a specific individual. So I've got two types of searches here. I could do an ad hoc type search, which is really just a one-off, or I could do more of a scheduled search, which is going to run on some kind of regular schedule. But for our demonstration here, I'm just going to do a ad hoc type search. So I'm going to create a job called Nate's Demo. And within that, I'm going to create a search. So the first thing I need to do for my search is define which machines are in scope. And I've got a number of different groups out here. You can see that I've got a couple groups. One's labeled Finance. If I click on that Finance group, you can see all the machines that are assigned to Finance. And I also see that Finance has a file share. And you can see that's in here as well. And for our search today, I'm going to select Finance. Also want to look at marketing, and we'll look at sales as well, including all of their file shares. Now, if I just hit search right here, what would happen is it would go out and do an inventory of every one of those machines in scope and bring back all the results. But I do have some keywords that I want to run, so I'm going to go ahead and add those now. And I've got a bunch of different keyword groups already set up in Heureka, but you can add your own groups and put whatever keywords you'd like in here. But we do have some default groups that are set up already. One of them is these FCPA terms, which I'm going to run, which has about 25, 30 different terms that I want to search for across those documents. So I'm going to go ahead and select my FCPA terms group, and I don't have any other additional keyword groups, so I'll just leave it at that for now. Now, if I did have some more advanced queries, some bigger queries, I can run those here. So if I want to look for very specific information, if I want to create some Boolean type searches or proximity type searches, I can do that here to get really surgical with my search. But I'm going to leave that blank for now. I don't have any specific file names or file owners. I don't have any specific hashes that I'm looking for, but I do want to specify certain file types that I want to look across. In this search here, I'm going to look across Mac Mail and Microsoft Office documents and PC email. I don't have any exact file paths. I want to search anything, and I don't have any date restrictions that I want to put on there. So I'm going to leave it kind of high level. So I've got my machines identified, my terms, and my file type. And I'm just going to call this Nate Search. And now I've created my search. And so what happened was when we created that search and I clicked on Save, it saved it into a queue, and we're waiting for the machines to check in that are in scope, pick up that request, run it against their local index, and return the results. And in the half a second it took to save and come over to the screen, one machine checked in, picked up that request, and returned 15 results. And you can start to see some of those results here. We can see the keywords that hit, machines that it came from. Looks like we've got some hits inside of a PST file. This was a Word doc inside of a PST. And then some of our data information. And as I hit refresh here, you can see that 29 machines are already finished, 21 are queued. This will take about a minute for all these to run through. We can search about 1,000 machines a minute. So it actually runs really fast. And as I scroll down, I can see which machines haven't checked in yet. So we've got a number of them that are still queued here, and those will start to roll in and check in here as we go. So it looks like there's 3 left. While those are finishing up, I just want to go over some quick functions here. So there's a couple different things that we can do in Heureka. Number one, if we wanted to collect any of these files, we can do a simple collect, and this would collect it down to say a preservation share or something like that on the network. If I hit next, I've got a bunch of different collection options that I can perform to get that information out of Heureka and move it downstream into another application. I also have the ability to quarantine and delete from here, so I can actually quarantine files across all these endpoints, which would make a copy of the file, verify that it's been copied, and then remove it from that source machine and leave a stub in place to let the user know that it's been removed. Or I could do a straight up delete from there. The other option that we've added here recently is the ability to tag files in place. So I can create a classification tag. So if these documents were, say, privileged, I can add a priv tag to that and basically apply it to those files. So it's going to add a privilege tag to those documents. And now every time that document comes up in a search, it's going to get that privilege tag. So if I export this out for an e-discovery matter, it's going to retain that tag. Or I can reuse that tag for another matter. It actually gets uploaded to a global tag library. And every time that document appears on the network, it inherits that priv tag. So no matter which machine it's running on, if I've tagged it here on a single machine and it's on, say, 200 other machines, they'll all get that priv tag and apply it to that document the same way. And it looks like our search completed. We had 50 machines and it found 340 files. So again, if I wanted to, I can create a collect from here and move it downstream or perform one of my other options. Now the other thing within Heureka there along the lines of tagging is, you see how we can get tags out or preserve those tags in here, but we also have the ability to ingest tags from other systems. So if you wanted to send that information up to, say, another application that would extract concepts for from machine learning or things like that, you'd be able to actually run your classifications in another application and then ingest those back into Heureka and have it apply to that data in place so you can use those classifications anywhere else. So that concludes our demo of the search capabilities within Heureka. If you have any questions, please visit us at www.heurekasoftware.com.